So, what are my thoughts on Beyond the Blacks album or self-titled? Yeah. What's going on, ladies and gents in Cyberland? Coming back to you with another album review, and this time we're on to another request that I received for this band. So, for the gentleman that asked for it, here you go. Beyond the Blacks self-titled album. So, I know there are a lot of vocalists in metal and rock, and there are some women that not only are gorgeous as hell, but they have some vocal ranges that are just simply amazing. And I'm not talking about Evanescence because, people say, oh, that band. I'm like, no, I don't really listen to too many. Actually, I really don't listen to any female vocalists for bands, and it's not because I'm biased or anything. You just never have. None really, I guess, got my attention, and maybe that's something I need to be better about. And just only have so many hours in the day, and we already have such a huge amount of music, And then I guess when you get older, you're not so open to trying new things. I think that's the right way to put it. But this request came, and I was like, okay, let me check it out, and I was quite impressed. When I think of female vocalists, the one that always gets brought up is Evanescence, and it was nice to hear something different. But what really caught my attention, and I only, before this review, I did some more research on the band and come to find out they're from Germany. But when I was listening to these tracks, I felt like I was on a cruise. Like I was on an island. Like I was on a place where it's more rural, right? Rural than industrial. And it felt like a calm, like a peace, to where I can just be in one with nature kind of thing. Even though the music is metal. There's not a lot of very soft things about it, but it just gave, maybe that was the synthesizers, but it gave that calm kind of thing to me when I listened to it. And that was really cool. I kind of felt like this would be music I would listen to if I was traveling Scotland or Ireland kind of thing. I know it's German, but that's just the vibe it gave off. And I'm not saying the band was doing that, but shit, struck a chord with me, definitely. Musically, I was cool with the band, but what really struck me, besides the way the synthesizer music was going, was the vocalist. And forgive me, I'm still learning about this band. I don't know everything. And I'm not going to pretend like I've researched everything, because I haven't. I've only just barely listened to the album for the most couple weeks. But her vocals are just pretty damn good. She has an amazing voice, and I really enjoyed that about the album, was listening to her sing that. And then don't forget there's acoustics in here too. What I liked is the fact that and I think that's just a special thing they'll have for whatever, and I know they had albums before this, but it's a special thing they can do, is that they could literally release an acoustic album, just take a bunch of songs, and they might have already, but take a bunch of songs from their catalog and just acoustically do them, and they'd work just fine because her voice could do it. She don't have to extend herself vocally. They can just be in a quiet, a more enclosed setting, like kind of like how MTV used to have their acoustic performances. I forget what it was called, but do something like that where she sings a couple songs and it would sound really good. Very tempered down kind of thing. It would be nice. But I prefer this. I wouldn't say like just start doing that. It's just she could, or they could do that if they haven't already. As far as my rating for the album, I give it 8 out of 10. I think the only thing was that why I probably wouldn't give it higher is because I felt like maybe the guitars could do a lot more with how she was singing. I don't know. It's just something. It felt. But then it's the first time I've listened to them by, so I just give it, for right now, I'd give it 8 out of 10 because I think it's a great album. I don't think it's perfect. Nothing struck me to feel that way, but at the same time, it's only the first album I listened to, so I wouldn't be surprised if they got like an album that kicks this album in its ass that's come out before it, or as they continue to keep doing their thing, they'll have an album that's better than it. I'm just starting in, so right now I'm just playing it safe because I did enjoy it, but I don't know if I could say that it's their best work. So I just give it 8 out of 10. But it's definitely nothing I didn't like. It wasn't like there were some tracks that were boring. It was just like, no, it just overall it just gave me, I felt like at peace when I was listening to it overall. Like I didn't feel like this, but I felt a sense of calm when I was enjoying it. And that's not very common for me when it comes to metal, especially for Metallica and Tool and, Korn and Black Sabbath and Ozzy and it was just, it was just kind of different. So I really enjoyed that. Top 5 track. Oh, no, not top 5 tracks. That's the other thing. Kind of gave me vibes of Muse a little bit, to some little degree. I felt like some of the tracks sounded a little bit like Muse. Not fully, but just felt like a little bit like Muse. Top 5 tracks: Into the Light, Raise Your Head, Winter Is Coming, Wide Awake, and Free Me. It took a little while to figure out my top 5 tracks for it, though. But I think after the second or third listen, I think Into the Light really just was like, okay, I got my first one, so I think it's going to be easier to find the rest of my set after this. So I would say if you are open to just being, checking out other bands, definitely check them out. And again, this is not their first album. This is like later down the catalog. It's just this album was asked of me, and at some point I intend to look at the work that came before it, so I can kind of like, oh, okay, all right. So now I can kind of gauge where I think the best work is, because right now I don't think it's wise for one album to say this is their best work. I got to listen to some other stuff, and my rating definitely could change for this album. Going up, it's not going to go down, but at least where I look at it, it's like definitely an 8 out of 10, something I can go back to on a regular basis. So with that being said, yeah, definitely she's a great vocalist, and that's what drew me to listening to the album and enjoying it and being entertained by it. So yeah, with that being said, cue the music.